Hey, everybody, welcome, welcome. We've got a great show lined up for all of you today. We're going to be talking about symbols and signs and totems. Oh, my. Hey, Mark, right?
Yeah. And Dr. Pat, not only is this our Halloween show,
Yep.
this is also our 1-year anniversary
Yeah.
of the Psychic and the Doc being on air.
Yeah.
And it has just been the most incredible journey, amazing. And we are going strong. And
so much fun.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And also, the feedback that I get from emails and from social media, it's very humbling how we are touching and helping people. So to all the listeners, thank you for your continued support.
Yeah, and we're not quite dressed up for Halloween yet, but when we come back from break, I think we might be a little bit. So we're going to get in the spirit of the spirit. The spirit of the spirit. And this is a live call-in show. We're going to do a couple of things today, but let's talk for a minute, if we could, about the topic. And that is, we want to talk about the notion of symbols, of signs. And it's funny we're talking about this because I pretty much have spent the last 7 to 10 days in some strange way talking about it. And then here we are doing a show about it. But what is it for you, Mark? Because you're of service to people, connecting them with those that have moved on. And you work with symbols and signs all along the way, don't you?
Absolutely. Symbols and signs are so powerful. And when I'm doing a reading for somebody, spirits are emitting this wave of frequency into my brain. And that wave of frequency gets converted into recognizable concepts based on my memories, feelings, and cultural associations. And oftentimes it's a symbol. It's a symbol. So that's why when I'm saying, okay, I'm seeing this, and it could mean this, this, or this. For example, let's say I see an apple. Okay, and most people like apples, we get that. But an apple could indicate, I associate picking apples with the month of September. So that's one of my triggers for the month of September. But it could also mean that someone's a teacher, because the proverbial give the apple to the teacher. And then this I notice, if I see a Macintosh apple, it's hilarious because when people say, well, I don't know what that means. And I say, well, do you use a Mac or an Apple product? They go, oh my God, I do. And so there's one symbol that has 3 different meanings. But, and people say, well, that's cold reading. It's like, no, it isn't. Think about the sound there. Is it Their, There, or They''re? We do things like this all the time. And this time of year, Dr. Pat, symbols, very, very important because, we're going from Halloween, then we're going to Thanksgiving, then to Christmas, Hanukkah. Let's take the skull. Okay, Halloween, we see skulls everywhere. So what do skulls mean to most people, Dr. Pat?
Uh, it depends on whether or not the skull has crossbones in front of it, right?
Right.
Um, but a lot of times when you see this, we tap in on either a memory or we tap in on a past life. And so, there are some people that'll see a skull and crossbones and they'll immediately go to pirates.
Arr.
They'll immediately go to pirates. But
That's true, yeah.
But these days, with what's on our pop culture TV, some people are like all about the zombie. Like, it's like, what are we going to do after the last season of The Walking Dead? Okay, that's what's happening this year. But it means different things to different people.
It does. And with Halloween, Dia de los Muertos, which is November 2nd, which coincides with the Christian holiday of All Souls Day.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so, so we think of skulls as being scary, but the origins of those were in Native American cultures. And when the Europeans, the Spanish specifically, invaded Central and South America, they knew that they couldn't completely eradicate Native beliefs because of ancestor worship. And so they took the ancestor worship and merged it with the Catholic holiday of All Saints Day. All Saints Day is November 1st, All Souls Day is November 2nd. But Dr. Pat, when I was in Peru, I was in the Andes Mountains at Ollantaytambo, which, and the Quechua people live there. They are the descendants of the Incas. And so I was there studying shamanism and archaeology, and a Quechua family invited me into their home. And it was really cool because you could tell that this home was centuries old. It was carved like into this cave area. And I walked in, and there on the hearth were the skulls of their ancestors, and little kids are playing on the floor in front of it, and the mom's cooking and all this, and in the first blush, you want to go, ew, but then I realized they were so excited to show me this because for them, this was ancestor worship, and they believe that the skulls were a draw for the spirits of their ancestors to look over them. So we may look at a skull as pirates, or with the skull and crossbones, poison or something scary, whereas other people may look at this as a very beautiful and spiritual thing.
Yeah. And one of the things I think we forget is that when you go back and think about the way that we've communicated as human beings, right? This communication of us came in the forms of glyphs or signs or symbols. I mean, some of the earliest writings, that they have been able to record, let's so to say, from these writing systems, and understanding them is really fascinating. I mean, you see them pictorially, right? You see a picture, it looks like a deer, but it could be a dog. But still, some of what we've been able to capture, especially when we're talking about the Kish tablet, or we're talking about some of these other tablets. We're talking about ancient Mesopotamian, and we're talking about poetry, but we're talking about picture writing systems, glyphs, symbols, whatever you want to call it. Over time, instead of them being communication devices, we've put meaning to them.
Right.
We put story to them, right? So this should be a fun show.
I think so. And also, this is an important show too, because this time of the year, a lot of people think the veil between this side and the other side gets thinner. To me, I've never noticed any difference. Okay, and I don't.
Thin all the time for you.
It's thin all the time, and honestly, I don't think that the collective consciousness, the afterlife frequency, of the other side is dependent upon a Northern European agricultural observance, aka harvest, meaning Halloween. But the symbolic importance of this time of year is to honor our dead. And that's what Halloween has its roots in, and then certainly de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, All Souls Day. So this is a very important symbolic time of the year, and also here in the Northern Hemisphere, because I know we have a lot of listeners in Australia. So
Yeah.
they're going from spring into summer. We're going into fall into winter, and fall symbolizes as life is ending and winter is death. So there's a lot of symbolism associated with this time of year.
Yeah. And, even when we talk about the numeric system and we go back and we look at time and we see the way these symbols have been written to represent 1 and 1 million. I mean, the symbol for 1 million is an Egyptian, person almost half kneeling down with arms up like this. So, what we've come to know is that symbols and signs have played a very important part in our lives. And Mark, you know what the concern is for people right now? The concern is that we're so glued to our technology that the intuitive nature of who we are, the deeper meaning, the creative selves, those parts of us that allow our imagination, that's not going to advance the cerebral cortex and how much we use in the brain. There's some people that believe technology will advance how much the cerebral cortex, how much we use. There are other people that say anything beyond 10%, anything greater than that, that has to come and represent a different state of being. So today's show is all about that. And we've got a bunch of callers on the line.
Yes, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
what do you say? Do we take a break now or do we go to calls, Dr.
Let's
Pat?
take a call. Why don't we get one call and then we'll take a break?
There we go.
All
Jacob,
right.
what do you think?
That sounds great to me. We've got Jane from Charlotte calling in.
Thank you. Thanks, Jacob. Hi, Jane. Welcome to the show. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc.
Oh, hi. Thank you so much. Hi, Mark, and hi, Dr. Pat.
Hi, Jane.
Hey, Jane.
Sorry, I was listening to your show, and then I got brought in, so I'm so sorry.
That's okay. You're good to go.
so-
You're fine.
Okay, great. I am looking to connect with my father because I'm having a deep.
Hold on, Jane.
that
Jane,
I-
hold on. Jane, hold on.
Mark's gonna get at it right now.
Yeah. Don't, all you need to say is, I want to connect my father. Don't start giving me backstory.
There we go.
Let's get it from him. Okay, now,
Okay.
sometimes the person you want to hear from is not always the first one to come through. All right, but I am getting a male energy associated with you, and my chest is hurting. So here's my sternum, and on either side of my sternum, I'm getting pressure and pain. Okay, and I'm coughing a lot, and I'm feeling a dry sensation in my lungs. I am smelling some smoke. So this could indicate, at least at some point during his life, he was a heavy smoker. This is such an uncomfortable feeling, this sensation. Did he ever have open heart surgery?
He had some stents put in, but he smoked
That's a yes. Stents count as surgery. What it is, when I feel like my sternum's getting cracked open, it's okay. I mean, it's an uncomfortable sensation. And he smoked. Okay, so we got your father here, and interesting. He's talking about you and the gems and the jewels, the JEWELS. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have a treasure chest full of jewels, but something about you with gems and jewels, precious stones, semi-precious stones, and the value that you place on them. And I know that sounds unusual, but does that make any sense to you in any way?
No.
Okay. Oh, for your benefit and for the benefit of the callers, always be careful about going directly to no. It's better to say, I'm not sure at this time. Because what I found is after the reading, things are going to make sense. This may be, as Dr. Pat was saying, and we were discussing earlier, a symbol of of you putting value on things that don't really matter. Okay. I mean, if
Okay.
you're in the desert, what would you rather have, a cup of diamonds or a cup of water? Okay. And I know you're probably thinking,
Okay.
well, hopefully I'll get out of the desert and still have a cup of diamonds. But that's a very important point that he's telling you.
Mhm.
And he is also explaining to me that you're very cautious about the decisions that you make. And this is what the gems are symbolizing. And that you are going through a process right now where you're sifting through a lot of different avenues, a lot of different possibilities, a lot of different choices. And you've got to separate out the real gems from the phony ones. Does this make any sense to you?
That makes sense.
There you go. Okay. And he said, don't gamble, don't gamble, don't gamble. That keeps getting repeated. Now, gambling doesn't always mean running off to a casino.
Mm.
It could be, you know, taking unnecessary chances. That's what I'm getting.
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So, Dr. Pat, do you have your psychological
Yeah, let me
perspective on
ask
this?
you, are you a risk taker?
No.
Mhm. And so, sometimes, let me ask you, because a couple things hit me, and I want to go back. Can I go back to the gemstone for a minute?
Sure.
Sometimes when we think about gemstones, and today's show is about symbols and signs. So that's why I want to go back there for a minute. A lot of times when somebody says a gemstone, we think about a diamond, or we think about something of a precious nature. But
Mhm.
I'd be on the lookout if I were you. I'd be on the lookout for something that shows up or is shown up. Now, what do I even mean by that? You're walking down the street and you see a stone that looks like marble, or all of a sudden you're drawn to something that you don't even think is a stone. Maybe you don't even know that it's a crystal. But just be aware of the stone people. Do you know what I mean when I say stone people? Okay. In the indigenous traditions, stones and gemstones had special meaning, extremely healing, and there are rituals to go with them. So whether you collect them or not, right? This is something to be on the lookout for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay. Do you live by a beach?
No.
Okay. So one of the things to really be on the lookout for is how something like this shows up for you. And if you see it and you notice it, pick it up. You know what I'm saying? Right? Like that. Because part of this is we're living in a time where we have to pay attention to the nuances in life and the detail. We have to pay attention to the nuances and the detail.
Okay.
Okay. What do you think, Mark?
I agree completely, because, gems could be many, many things. Like, that's a gem. A decision's a gem. It's a jewel. And because a lot of times with symbols, we take things literally. Literally. And here, I think this is more of the decisions. Once again, what's that expression, separating the wheat from the chaff or whatever? This is kind of that same thing. You've got to separate the cheap costume jewelry from the real thing. All right, or the authentic decisions.
Yeah.
So I'm getting like you've got all these decisions coming up, and you've got a lot on your plate right now.
Yeah.
And your dad was your wise man. He was the guy that you'd go to for wisdom and counsel. But what he said just now to me is, you don't need me anymore. What you need is to refer. In other words, think about what would dad have said. Now you're the wise woman, Jane. You're the mature leader, the adult. So take those pearls, those gems of wisdom that he taught you, and apply it to your situation. So there you go.
All right. Thank you, Jane. Hey, Jacob,
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Let's take a short break, Jacob, and when we come back, we'll get right at the phones. Thank you. That's our Jacob. He has got this thing rolling so smoothly. What a gem you are, Jacob.
Oh,
He
thanks.
is.
Uh-oh.
He's no diamond in the rough. He's our rough diamond. Hoorah!
Oh, no. Oh my God, we're losing control. Oh, we never had control. Okay, that's good. Hey, before we go to the phones, how do people get a copy of your book? How are we doing?
The Afterlife Frequency, my new book.
Yeah.
My new book is
Yeah, there it is.
it's still at the top of the charts and going strong.
Nice.
That goes on Great Day Houston, CBS KHOU TV, talking about it today, and I've been doing 2 to 3 interviews per day, and then
Cool.
on this Saturday, October 30th, I'm having a spirit communication online event. People can find out about that, about my book, sign up for newsletter, schedule a reading with me, all by visiting my website, afterlifefrequency.com. Same as my book, Afterlife Frequency. So thank you, Dr. Pat. I appreciate that. And everybody, I kicked off the launch of this book on my favorite radio show, the Dr. Pat Show. And we just had a great time. We've been having I've known Dr. Pat for years. I've been on her show for years. And the fact that this is our 1-year anniversary of the Psychic in the Doc, and it's the Halloween show, it doesn't get any better than this.
Okay, here is a thing that I don't recommend to people, and we're going to go right to the phones. I had, for my anniversary, Halloween. Now, the upside of that could be fun. The downside of that is when you break up and you're no longer in that relationship, unless you go to therapy or visit with Mark, you got to create a whole new costume for that day. But that's another show. Let's go to the phones, Jacob. Hey, Katie, you're live on the Psychic and the Doc.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hi, can you hear me?
I got you now.
Oh,
What can we
okay.
do for you? Hey,
Yeah,
Katie,
hi.
what can we do for you?
Nice to meet you. I'm just wondering if you have anyone from the other side who wants to connect with me.
Yeah, I hope they can get through all the rain we're getting here, but let me turn you over to Mark.
Yeah, and I'm under a tornado
Okay,
watch. It really is Halloween or almost.
Oh.
Katie, I'm getting a female energy coming through. Now, this is interesting because she could be on your generational level, which would be like a sibling, cousin, friend, or below your level. Okay. And by below, I don't mean in the negative sense. I mean like on the child, niece, nephew level, or this could be somebody that you knew when you were younger. That's how I get this. And with her, I'm getting a very quick and abrupt passing. I'm tasting blood and I'm feeling pressure in my nose. And what it is, this feels like there could have been damage to her face or sinuses, but this also feels like when you get intubated and they have to put the tubes up your nose. And I do get that this feels like a lot of trauma. This very well could have been some type of accident, feels like it could have been a car accident. And it seems like she may have survived the initial impact, but not for very long after that. Does that make sense to you in any way?
Not right now.
I'm going to stick with her because she's talking about when you were around 16, 17 years old is maybe when you knew this person. And she's also talking about you being extremely pensive, pensive right now. Not like right this minute, but right now at this, point in your life. Very, very pensive.
Yeah.
It's like you're on pins and needles. And the thing is, Katie, what she's telling me is that you're not a neurotic person, but right now you're going through a tremendous amount of anxiety and fear. anxiety and fear. And it's like you don't know which way to go. And you feel like no matter how hard you try, you're going in circles, going in circles. But not to worry, she said, because you're coming around and about to figure it out. And is there something in the middle of November, around November 18th, let's say November 15th through November 20th, some type of birth, death, anniversary, or event of significance to you or someone close to you in any way? Because she's zeroing in on that time frame.
Well, it's my birthday.
Bingo. Verifiable fact following the message. When a spirit gives us a message of an explanatory or advisory nature about you, like you feel like you're on pins and needles and going in circles, but you're working your way out of it, and you're going to start getting that clarity and calm and inner peace. Okay, that's the advice and explanation. And then when they follow that up with an objectively verifiable fact, your birthday, that verifiable fact is how the spirit's letting you and I know that we properly received and interpreted the message. Do you work with rescue animals or adopting pets? There's something, you're getting like this whole pet animal energy.
Yeah, I have 6 adopted animals.
There you go. So whoever this young lady is, she's very in step and in tune with you. Okay. And what she's telling me is that it's time for you. It's like you need to take a step up. It's time to step up to the plate, and you know this. Dr. Pat, I think this is time for your counseling and in spiritual, psychological insights.
Let me just share. Let me just give you this. Do you feel a little anxious these days at all? I mean, is that something you're sensing?
Well, I'm a new mom, and I'm a little sleep deprived.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so juggling a lot.
That's yeah. It's really interesting because it's funny that you're a new mom. I picked a card for you. And when I picked the card, I was thinking and I picked it before you were talking to Mark. And I thought, what the heck does this card have to do with her? And the card is the bat. And so in indigenous cultures and medicine wheel culture, the bat, not like the Batman bat, but the bat is a very, very special symbol. And so the bat is steeped in mystery, but its meaning is rebirth, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you become a new mom, see if this is true for you. When you become a new mom, you not only have a new child, but you start a new pathway, a new journey. Many women that I work with, right after they have a child, they feel themselves in a place of rebirth, even through the exhaustion, the lack of sleep, and the anxiety that comes from, handling a baby, right?
Right.
But I got to tell you, I have a new mantra. Yeah. Is this true? I mean, when you put it all together, right? You are really a warrior. So the bat is this interesting symbol for you because as a new mom, you now have a new warrior shield. Do you understand what I'm saying about a new warrior shield? Right?
You do.
Yeah. There's nothing going to come between you and that baby.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Now, the flip side of that, I'll tell you, is this. This is what you have to really be mindful of with this symbol. Okay? Something when it's reborn, something else you have to let go of. Right? Usually rebirth is associated with letting go. I don't know what it is for you, but something might be there in terms of what Mark was talking with you about, something that you have to release and transmute into a different energy. Does that make sense?
I mean, kind of. I think I have to be reflecting on it.
You have to reflect on this. This is a little bat that people call a rodent, but it's a very powerful symbol. And what it does is, especially if you have a child, one of the things I love is I get to work with women And I'm so fascinated by the rituals that they create at the time of their birth of their child, but then at the time of their own rebirth. And so cut out some time for yourself, sacred time, right? So that you're able to get the sleep you need. But this part of your life now is a ritualistic journey. It is a rebirth at so many levels, okay?
Yeah.
And it's almost silly for me to say, yeah, get some rest. Who does that? Who has a new baby and gets rest? Somebody raise their hand. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the carving for myself is important.
It is. Back in the day when women had babies, that's all they did. They had the babies, right? Now women have children, they take care of animals, and they work. But this is a powerful message for you. So just pay attention to the sign of rebirth, okay?
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. Jacob, that was a great call. Why don't we go to the phones? Let's take another call.
Sounds good. We've got Nicole from Long Island.
Hi, Nicole. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Nicole.
Hello?
Hi, Nicole from Long Island.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, good. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc. How can we help you today?
Hi, I was just seeing, I guess I wanted to see if anyone was on the other side as well, and then just some questions about something that's going on in my life.
Sure. Go ahead.
All
I
right.
mean, Mark.
No problem. I knew exactly what you meant, Dr. Pat. See,
Okay.
we have our rhythm here. Okay, female energy coming through feels like she's connected to you on your mother's side of the family. Almost has more of a grandmother vibe, but then again, all grandmothers are mothers and many mothers are grandmothers. What I'm getting with her though is this terrible disruption in her stomach and digestion and a nauseated, almost vomiting sensation. Now that can indicate a few different things. That may indicate that she was having difficulty eating and or holding down food prior to passing. But sometimes the nausea is also a cancer indicator for me. This poor lady was in a lot of physical discomfort prior to passing. I'm feeling my thigh, my right thigh swelling up, my right knee, both my feet, I can barely feel them. So she was having circulation, edema, a lot of inflammation. She knew that she was dying. This was not a quick event. She was being made as comfortable as possible through medications. But let me tell you, even through the medication, there was a lot of discomfort in her back, low back, hips, that area. So does any of this make sense to you?
Yeah, my grandmother and my mom's mother had passed away, and she had lymphedema of her legs, so her legs were always swollen, and she had knee issues as well.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, because I remember I said
double knee replacement. Yeah, but
yeah, because I was saying
she
mom's
went
side.
quick though. She had a heart attack.
Well, yeah, but leading up to that, she had all these problems.
Leading up
Do
to
you see
it,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
she had lymphedema,
And
correct.
she was some type of sedation or medication even through the heart attack, is what I'm getting with that. So she may have been taking something for pain and discomfort. All right, so we got her on the line, and she said, "It's not time for you to take your hook out of the water. Not time for you to take the hook out of your water." Interesting. Let me see. What could that mean? Usually when you got a hook in the water, it means that it's like irons in the fire with all these symbols again. Irons in the fire, meaning that it's don't act too quickly right now. All right. Now I think we're getting over to, you have a question about something going on. She said, don't act rashly, don't act quickly, be very methodical. In other words, don't yank your hook out of the water yet because the fish is about to bite. All right, so obviously it doesn't mean you're going fishing. This means that some type of situations, and this feels like it's business, but it has a huge personal commitment and personal component. All right, so now I'm going to go, what is the question about what's going on that you wanted to ask her?
Well, it was just we're in the process of getting a house, so I wanted to know if that was going to work out and everything. So it's been like, this is our second house we're looking at now, and it's been a process every time. So
Oh, there you go. Don't take your hook out of the water too
Yeah.
quick. Okay. So very good. Yeah, just be patient with this. Let's see if we can get. Ooh, the reason I'm saying ooh is I'm getting like toward the end of December. So whoever's selling this house, there's going to be a lot of negotiations, a lot of bickering back and forth. But once we start getting toward the end of the year, I'm hearing the word fire sale, and that doesn't mean the house is going to burn down and all that, but it means that you're going to be
Right.
in a much better negotiation position then than you are now.
Got it.
So don't yank your hook out of the water just yet. Be
Got it.
very cautious. Dr. Pat, what is your insight?
The only insight I have, and this is one that we all go through when we're in the middle of buying something like this, right? You know, it's a very special time and a very special event. And yet, especially in the market, there can be days where you think you're going to move forward and get the house of your dreams and days where you don't. You know what the key to this is in the law of attraction? The key to this is not have yourself subjected to the energy of frustration. Do you know that energy?
Yeah.
Yeah, frustration, right? So
Yeah.
the thing to hold on to is any setup, any setback. I did a whole show on this today. It aired today. Any setback is a setup. You get what I'm saying? Any setback.
Right,
I
yeah.
don't care what it is. Any setback is a setup because there's something perfect for you. But the law of frustration is what I call the law of distraction. When you bring that energy in, that setback takes a priority and you don't see the setup, right? You don't see the setup. Keep your eye on the setup. Move so quickly beyond any kind of gibberish that has to do with you're not getting it, it's not the right home, somebody else got it. Just delete, delete, delete. That is the key to
Right.
finding your home dream right there. That right there.
Right.
That's it.
All
And
right, well,
I'm not
thank
saying
you.
that that's easy to do, but I'm telling you, the way that I know about this one is you say thank you. Say thank you in advance. I don't know if you believe in God, spirit, goddess, whatever you believe in. Thank it in advance. And if you stay in that place, it's going to show up. And you know what? You'll be awake enough to see it.
All right.
All right. Good. Thank you. Thank you. I know
All
the
right, thank
house
you,
is out
guys.
there. I think the house is right out there. I think it's right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's looking good.
I know. Why don't we do this? Why don't we take a short break? And when we come back, we're going to hit right back on the phones. Let's do that, Jacob, if we could. Oh boy. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Psychic and the Doc. I am Dr. Pat, and I'm here with psychic lawyer, explorer, Mark Anthony. And Mark, we're going to go right to the phones. Let's do it, Jacob.
Yep.
Sounds great. We've got Carly from Boise coming on the line right now.
Hi, Carly. You're live on the Psychic and the Doc. Welcome.
Your mouse can fit through the bottom of the door.
Hi there, Carly.
Hey, Carly. Yeah, we're gonna have to go to another caller, and you can have somebody talk to Carly, and we'll get Carly back after. But let's go to the next caller.
I'm here.
Okay, you're here now. Okay, you're live.
Sorry,
You're live
I didn't hear.
Okay, you're live on the Psychic and the Doc. How can we help you today?
Yes, so I just want to know what, like, my mom has for me. Basically,
Right,
what,
that's all. Hold on,
Yeah.
Carly. That's all I need.
Yeah, and
Okay.
Carly, do me a favor. If you're in a speakerphone, take yourself off it.
Please.
Okay.
let me see.
Interesting. Carly,
Okay.
I'm getting a female energy coming through, and she's pulling my attention into the month of August. Is there a significant birth, death, anniversary event connected to you or your mom or someone close to the two of you within August?
My My daughter's birthday is in August.
Okay, and your daughter obviously is here in this world.
Yeah, and she's really close with my mom, or she was.
Okay, hold on. All right, that's one of the reasons your mom's bringing that up. Stand by. Interesting. Your mom is telling me that you're right on track. You're right on track. You know, I was sitting there. That's why I was pausing for a moment, because I was like, okay, what's the problem going on with her? And your mom saying you're right on track. That's really good feedback. Okay. So she said that you're doing everything that you should be doing. You're putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, not just, you know, with walking, but in life. And she said, you're also setting a very good example for your daughter. You're giving her good parameters, and you are like, it's not that you're overly strict, but you are setting good parameters for her, because that is going to serve her very well by instilling a sense of discipline, which is the same one that your mother instilled in you. That's a very nice message.
Mm-hmm. And does she think that I'll ever find the person I'm supposed to be with? That's, you know what I mean? It's like my partner, you know.
You know, if Dr. Pat and I had $1 for every time each of us have heard that that question, because everybody wants to know about love, life, and career.
Well, I have an easy answer.
Go ahead, Dr. Pat.
You actually don't think you're going to find that person. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So long as you keep believing that, what do you think? So here's what you should know about the law of attraction that a lot of people don't know. It is the most impersonal energy on the planet. It has no personality. It has no power. It has nothing. What it does is it reads our energy, what we want, what we don't want, what we feel. And what it says is, oh, that must be the way her vibe is. I'm just going to give her more of that. The best way for you to change that is to find a mantra, is to step into a new belief. Now, I'm telling you, it sounds simple, but I know for myself, it's not easy. Fear is underneath your request. Fear, F-E-A-R, is directly underneath your request. You know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, fear of not finding a person is underneath your request.
So just basically because I'm scared, right?
You're afraid you're never going to find it. And, you know, it's interesting. I have a new mantra now from watching the movie Dune over the weekend twice. And there's a litany and a quote from this. And it's so powerful. And it's, I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. Fear is the little death that brings total obliteration. I will face my fear. I will permit it to pass over me and through me. And when it is gone, I will turn to the inner eye and see its path. Where the fear is gone, there will be nothing, only I will remain. That is a very powerful line from the book. And that has got to be what you bring into your consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Like they have the laws of attraction with work, so like, they do very well at work, but I think they just seem to do it that way too.
Okay. So my suggestion to you is do whatever you need to do to believe that the perfect person is for you and you're worthy of it. You see what I'm saying? You're worthy of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't settle.
Okay.
Okay. That is
Thank
a
you
message
guys
for
so
a
much.
lot of people today. You bet. That right there, that call right there with that message right there, that is the message for everybody today. This is not a time energetically for any of us to settle. It's not that time. It's not the time of dream destroying. It's the time of dream defying actions, right? Okay, I love this. Let's go, Jacob.
All right, we've got Madeline from Long Island.
Hi, Madeline.
Well, Long Island is rocking tonight. I feel like
know.
having pizza now. Hey,
Hey,
Madeline.
Madeline.
Hello?
Hey, you're live on the Psychic and the Doc. You're like really live.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Look,
What
how
can we
can
do?
we
What
help
can we
you?
do for you, Madeline?
Okay, I'm looking to speak with my dad.
Okay, hold on. Let me see if we can get him to step forward. Ow. Oh, when I say ow, there's a gentleman coming through, maybe your dad, but it could be another male associated with you. I'm immediately getting pain in my jaw on my right side, and I'm feeling an instability in my low back, hips, and I feel like I'm walking like off balance. Was he having difficulty walking prior to passing?
Yeah, yes, he did.
Okay, so we got him here, and he's pointing to your teeth. What's going on with your teeth? You need to go to the dentist. Do you have like a sore tooth or something? But he's pointing to your teeth, and he keeps going like this. He goes, "You got to get your teeth taken care of." I mean, I'm laughing, but it's
Yeah.
the way he's saying it. Your dad was hilarious. This guy was funny. All right, what's going on with your teeth?
I'm actually in the process of going to the dentist, yes.
Your what?
She's in the process
I'm
of
in the
going to
process.
the dentist.
Yes.
What does that mean in the process? Does that mean like you have an appointment or you're just kind of thinking
No,
about
no.
it?
I'm getting prices.
Very good. That's action. I love action.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So what do you think Dad's telling you? Let's get this going. All right. So, and he said, lay off the candy corn. I mean, seriously, that's what he said. He's holding up all these little pieces of candy corn. And obviously, I mean, does anyone really like that stuff? But anyway, what is with you and all the sweets and the candy corn?
Oh, I'm addicted to sweets. That's my downfall. My
So-
chocolate. I just bought a bag of candy corn before.
You just bought a what?
It's a bag of candy
A
corn.
bag of candy corn.
Oh,
Just bought a
you
bag
are
of candy corn.
you are totally busted from the other
You're
side.
like so busted. You're like, okay, game over. Like game over now.
Game over.
That's it,
Yeah.
I'm
So
busted. That's
So,
it.
so what do you think your dad might be telling you about excessive sweets and rotten teeth?
Oh, my teeth aren't rotten. I just have to get them taken care of.
Unrotten. Right, right. And forgive me for joking around. I like your dad because he's funny. He kind of reminds me sort of, remember Harvey Korman and Tim Conway? Remember those comedians? He's kind of
Right.
like that. Like he could say something with a straight face, but it was hilariously funny. And you had to wait a
Right.
second to see because, you know, he had that dry sense of humor. Let me tell you something.
Right.
He loves you so very much. He's chiming in. He's letting you know about the candy corn because that's his way of letting you know that he's around you and aware of what's happening in your life. He wants to make sure you take good health care of your teeth and also to let's cut way back on the sugar. Dr. Pat?
I only have one thing to say. This is an action you know you're going to take. Sometimes it's really good to do the research, especially when you're getting dental work done, right? I mean, to do price checking for dental work, that is very good idea.
Right.
But the card I pulled for you is the spider. And the spider is about weaving. So the dentist is not a single thing. There's something else associated with the dental thing, right? There's some reason that he wants you to get this done. Do you know what that is?
I don't know.
Why do you?
You know what?
Go ahead.
I know he's passed and he left me some money, and I think if I don't do my teeth now, I'll end up spending the money.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what
look,
it is. I know my
it is.
father.
Yeah, you know, and it's interesting about spider and spider medicine and weaving. There's a web, right? There's this beautiful web that a spider weaves. And it's not that people think that we don't know how to spend money. sometimes this has to do with we don't know how to spend money on behalf of ourselves. We'll spend
Right,
it on
right.
everybody else, or we'll spend it on other things. But this is a self-care moment for you.
Right.
And it's more symbolic than you think. It's really
Right.
more symbolic than you think. And if we had more time, we'd probably talk about it. But I would venture to say that it's the first step for you literally creating a new pathway to self-care for yourself.
Right.
Right? I'm right, right?
Yeah, I believe you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course
Yes, you
she's
are.
right. She's
Yeah.
Dr. Pat. She's
Well,
right.
I'm just saying,
Listen to her.
if you could take this step, as big as it may seem,
Yeah.
you're going to carve out a new pathway of freedom for yourself that you're not accustomed to because you don't do it.
Right.
Okay. You got to report back. We got to know when you're
Yep.
going to see the dentist.
I will. I'll show you my new grill.
All right. Woo-hoo!
I love it. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you.
Wow. What a great show. Right, Mark? Thank
Hey,
you. What
Yeah, it
great
was.
callers.
That was an important message from the last caller and to everybody.
Mhm.
Is she said, well, if I don't spend this money on myself, my healthcare, I'm going to spend it on some other way. Invest in yourself. Invest in your health.
Yeah.
Because if you don't take care of yourself, then how can you take care of anyone else?
Yeah. And what's interesting about tonight and the callers, right? I mean, I don't like to generalize things because everybody's unique, but in its own way, the pathway and the message and the symbolism for tonight across the board for me and hearing people is rebirth. And everything from the new mom to this last call, Mark. When we enter a new realm, that is fearless. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer. When we enter that realm, one of the hardest things to do is move through the fear of taking care of ourselves. And rebirth is the symbol for today's show.
Yes. And that ties into the symbolism of Halloween and Samhain and Dia de los Muertos. We're honoring our loved ones who have passed on, but this is also a transitional holiday. So, and with that, we are going to be back next week. So,
I wanted to say to everybody, look, we're doing our best to make sure we get all the callers in. We're doing our best to make sure we keep rocking it with you. As we move forward as in 2022, our theme at Transformation Network is 2022 is all about you. And we mean that. Everything from the quality of what we bring to what you want more of. And so get ready for us to be asking you. So we hope to hear from you, right, Mark?
absolutely. And I'm really looking forward to this. And, the Transformation Network, it's more than just a name and a logo. The shows on the Transformation Network, in particular this one, is about helping people transition, transform. Like, I can deliver messages from spirits, Dr. Pat can give her psychological insights, but ultimately it's up to you to transform your life.
Yeah. And hold on to the rebirth idea. Even those of you out there, that idea about not being able to buy the house, okay, and not being able to get the one, you see the theme here is the underlying frustration is built on the fear, and that fear is not the reality of what you deserve in life. That's what we want to leave you with. Thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on. We'll see you next week on The Psychic and the Doc. Hey, everybody. Thank you for tuning into The Psychic and the Doc with Mark Anthony and me, Dr. Pat Baccili, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Hey, look, come back next week so we can explore with you more of life's many challenges and learn from fascinating guests. And you know what? Even Mark and me. We'll connect you and discover insights from people in this life and from the afterlife. Extraordinary problems? Yeah, they do. They require extraordinary solutions. But step into the world of possibilities with us on The Psychic and the Doc. That's every Thursday, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, right here on TransformationTalkRadio.com. That's TransformationTalkRadio.com. And don't forget, we're also live face-to-face on Facebook.com, Transformation Talk Radio.